संबंधों ने एक नई ऊंचाई हासिल की है, लेकिन भारत अपने इन रिश्तों को केवल वर्तमान संदर्भ में ही नहीं देखता। हमारे लिए इन रिश्तों की जड़ें हजारों साल पुरानी है। अरब जगत सैकड़ों वर्ष पहले भारत और यूरोप के बीच व्यापार में एक ब्रिज की भूमिका निभाता था। मैं जिस गुजरात से आता हूं, वहां के व्यापारियों के लिए, हमारे पूर्वजों के लिए तो अरब जगत व्यापारिक रिश्तों का प्रमुख केंद्र होता था। सभ्यताओं के इस समागम से ही नई संभावनाओं का जन्म होता है। इसी संगम से कला, साहित्य और संस्कृति की नई धाराएं निकलती है। इसलिए अबू धाबी में बना ये भव्य मंदिर इसलिए इतना महत्वपूर्ण है। इस मंदिर ने हमारे प्राचीन रिश्तों में नई सांस्कृतिक ऊर्जा भर दी है। साथियों, अबू धाबी का ये विशाल मंदिर केवल एक उपासना स्थली नहीं है, ये मानवता की साझी विरासत का, शेयर्ड हेरिटेज का प्रतीक है। ये भारत और अरब के लोगों के आपसी प्रेम का भी प्रतीक है। इसमें भारत यूएई के रिश्तों का एक आध्यात्मिक प्रतिबिंब भी है। इस अद्भुत निर्माण के लिए मैं BAPS संस्था और उनके सदस्यों की सराहना करता हूं, हरिभक्तों की सराहना करता हूं। BAPS संस्था के लोगों द्वारा, हमारे पूज्य संतों के द्वारा पूरे विश्व में मंदिर बनाए गए हैं। इन मंदिरों में जितना ध्यान वैदिक बारीकियों का रखा जाता है, उतनी ही आधुनिकता भी उसमें झलकती है। कठोर प्राचीन नियमों का पालन करते हुए आप आधुनिक जगत से कैसे जुड़ सकते हैं, स्वामीनारायण संन्यास परंपरा इसका उदाहरण है। आपका प्रबंध कौशल, व्यवस्था संचालन और उसके साथ साथ हर श्रद्धालु को लेकर संवेदनशीलता, हर कोई इससे बहुत कुछ सीख सकता है। ये सब भगवान स्वामीनारायण की कृपा का ही परिणाम है। मैं इस महान अवसर पर भगवान स्वामीनारायण के चरणों में भी प्रणाम करता हूं। मैं आप सभी को और देश विदेश के सभी श्रद्धालुओं को बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, ये समय भारत के अमृतकाल का समय है। ये हमारी आस्था और संस्कृति के लिए भी अमृतकाल का समय है। और अभी पिछले महीने ही अयोध्या में भव्य राम मंदिर का सदियों पुराना सपना पूरा हुआ है। रामलला अपने भवन में विराजमान हुए हैं। पूरा भारत और हर भारतीय उस प्रेम में, उस भाव में अभी तक डूबा हुआ है। और अभी मेरे मित्र ब्रह्मविहारी स्वामी कह रहे थे कि मोदी जी तो सबसे बड़े पुजारी है। मैं जानता नहीं हूं मैं मंदिरों की पुजारी की योग्यता रखता हूं या नहीं रखता हूं, लेकिन मैं इस बात का गर्व अनुभव करता हूं कि मैं मां भारती का पुजारी हूं। परमात्मा ने मुझे जितना समय दिया है उसकी हर पल, और परमात्मा ने जो शरीर दिया है उसका कण कण सिर्फ और सिर्फ मां भारती के लिए है। एक 140 करोड़ देशवासी मेरे आराध्य देव हैं। साथियों, अयोध्या के हमारे उस परम आनंद को आज अबू धाबी में मिली खुशी की लहर ने और बढ़ा दिया। और मेरा सौभाग्य है ये कि मैं पहले अयोध्या में भव्य श्री राम मंदिर और फिर अब अबू धाबी में इस मंदिर का साक्षी बना है। साथियों, हमारे वेदों ने कहा है, एकम सत्य विप्रा बहुधा वदंती, एकम सत विप्रा बहुधा वदंती, अर्थात एक ही ईश्वर को, एक ही सत्य को विद्वान लोग अलग अलग तरह से बताते हैं। ये दर्शन भारत की मूल चेतना का हिस्सा है। इसलिए हम स्वभाव से ही न केवल सबको स्वीकार करते हैं बल्कि सबका स्वागत भी करते हैं। हमें विविधता में बैर नहीं दिखता, हमें विविधता ही विशेषता लगती है। आज वैश्विक संघर्षों और चुनौतियों के सामने ये विचार हमें एक विश्वास देता है, मानवता में हमारे विश्वास को मजबूत करता है। इस मंदिर में आपको पग पग पर विविधता में विश्वास की ये झलक दिखेगी। मंदिर की दीवारों पर हिंदू धर्म के साथ साथ इजिप्ट की हायरोग्लिफ और बाइबल की, कुरान की कहानियां भी उकेरी गई है। मैं देख रहा था, मंदिर में प्रवेश करते ही वॉल ऑफ हार्मनी के दर्शन होते हैं। इसे हमारे बोहरा मुस्लिम समाज के भाइयों ने बनवाया है। इसके बाद इस बिल्डिंग का इंप्रेसिव 3D एक्सपीरियंस होता है। इसे पारसी समाज ने शुरू करवाया है। यहां लंगर की जिम्मेदारी के लिए हमारे सिख भाई बहन सामने आए हैं। मंदिर के निर्माण में हर धर्म संप्रदाय के लोगों ने काम किया है। मुझे ये भी बताया गया है कि मंदिर के 7 स्तंभ या मीनारे यूएई के 7 अमीरात के प्रतीक है। यही भारत के लोगों का स्वभाव भी है। हम जहां जाते हैं वहां की संस्कृति को, वहां के मूल्यों को सम्मान भी देते हैं और उन्हें आत्मसात भी करते हैं। और ये देखना कितना सुखद है कि सबके सम्मान का यही भाव हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद के जीवन में भी साफ दिखता है। मेरे ब्रदर, मेरे मित्र, शेख मोहम्मद बिन जायद का भी विजन है, वी आर ऑल ब्रदर्स। उन्होंने अबू धाबी में हाउस ऑफ अब्राहम फैमिली बनाया। इस एक कॉम्प्लेक्स में मस्जिद भी है, चर्च भी है और सिनगॉग भी है। और अब अबू धाबी में भगवान स्वामीनारायण का ये मंदिर विविधता में एकता के उस विचार को नया विस्तार दे रहा है। साथियों, आज इस भव्य और पवित्र जगह से मैं एक और खुशखबरी देना चाहता हूं। आज सुबह यूएई के उपराष्ट्रपति हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद बिन राशिद ने दुबई में भारतीय श्रमिकों के लिए एक अस्पताल बनाने के लिए जमीन देने की घोषणा की है। मैं उनका और मेरे ब्रदर हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद बिन जायद का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। साथियों, हमारे वेद हमें सिखाते हैं कि समानो मंत्र समिति समानी समानम मनः सह चित्रम एषाम। अर्थात हमारे विचार एकजुट हो, हमारे मन एक दूसरे से जुड़े, हमारे संकल्प एकजुट हो। मानवीय एकता का यह आह्वान ही हमारे आध्यात्म का मूल भाव रहा है। हमारे मंदिर इन शिक्षाओं के, इन संकल्पों के केंद्र रहे हैं। इन मंदिरों में हम एक स्वर में ये घोष करते हैं कि प्राणियों में सद्भावना हो, विश्व का कल्याण हो। मंदिरों में वेद की जिन ऋचाओं का पाठ होता है वो हमें सिखाती हैं वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, अर्थात पूरी पृथ्वी ही हमारा परिवार है। इस विचार को लेकर आज भारत विश्व शांति के अपने मिशन के लिए प्रयास कर रहा है। भारत की प्रेसिडेंसी में इस बार G20 देशों ने वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर के संकल्प को और मजबूत बनाया है, आगे बढ़ाया है। हमारे ये प्रयास वन सन, वन वर्ल्ड, वन ग्रिड जैसे अभियानों को दिशा दे रहे हैं। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया का भाव लेकर भारत वन अर्थ, वन हेल्थ इस मिशन के लिए भी काम कर रहा है। हमारी संस्कृति, हमारी आस्था हमें विश्व कल्याण के इन संकल्पों का हौसला देती है। भारत इस दिशा में सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास के मंत्र पर काम कर रहा है। मुझे विश्वास है कि अबू धाबी के मंदिर की मानवीय प्रेरणा हमारे इन संकल्पों को ऊर्जा देगी, उन्हें साकार करेगी। इसी के साथ आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं। मैं इस भव्य दिव्य विशाल मंदिर को पूरी मानवता को समर्पित करता हूं। पूज्य महंत स्वामी के श्री चरणों में प्रणाम करता हूं। पूज्य प्रमुख स्वामी का पुण्य स्मरण करते हुए मैं श्रद्धापूर्वक नमन करता हूं और सभी हरि भक्तों को जय श्री स्वामीनारायण।
Minister there inaugurating the Swaminarayan temple in Abu Dhabi. It's the first temple in the entire Gulf region. We're given to understand the biggest temple anywhere outside of India. Land for which was given by the Abu Dhabi government, the Emirati government. The Prime Minister there saying that he's a pujari of Ma Bharti. He's of course had a long association with the BAPS group, the BAPS faithful. Even in his time as Gujarat Chief Minister, in his speech, he remembered very fondly the Pramukh Swami, who was the leader of the BAPS community for a many number of years before he passed away. And today the Prime Minister remembering him very fondly and his close association with him very fondly. So the Prime Minister there inaugurating what is the biggest temple outside of India, the first in the Gulf region, the BAPS Swaminarayan temple in Abu Dhabi. All right, let's focus now on the big story here on Brass Tacks. The protesting farmers from Punjab, they are adamant on marching ahead to Delhi. They are being currently stopped at the Punjab-Haryana border, the Shambhu border as it's known. There were some skirmishes today as the protesters tried to break the barricades, but the police stopped them by lobbing tear gas shells. But beyond what's happening locally on the ground, the skirmishes here and there, let's tonight on Brass Tacks look at the heart of this issue. What do the farmers want? They want a law that guarantees a minimum support price or MSP. They want the implementation of the Swaminathan Committee report, which basically means the cost at which the government procures 23 scheduled crops from these farmers would be at the rate of 50% profit over and above the cost of production. That is the formula as per the Swaminathan Commission recommendation for MSP for these 23 scheduled crops. Now, the Swaminathan Commission was not instituted or constituted by the Modi government. In fact, its report was submitted way back when the UPA was in power in 2010. And when that report was submitted to the UPA government, the then Congress-led government refused to implement it. In fact, the then Agriculture Minister said it in Parliament that it is unimplementable because there is no direct mechanical connection between the formula arrived at there, that is MSP, and whatever market forces there are in deciding what price should be given to a particular crop. Today, though, 10 years after that statement by the UPA's Agriculture Minister, today in the context of this farmers' protest, Rahul Gandhi promised an MSP law if the Congress and the UPA, the India Alliance, were to come to power. The question then is, why did the UPA government not do this in 2010? Why did it not implement the most fundamental recommendation of the Swaminathan Commission, which was fixing MSP at 50% profit over and above cost of production? If the Congress couldn't do it when it was in power, why is it making this promise now, knowing perhaps that it may not be feasible economically, and knowing perhaps that this is just a politically expedient thing to do? The question then is it politics at play, or is there a changed map at play? But first, Let's get to the story of what happened on the ground today.
ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਫਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੈਸ ਦੇ ਗੋਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ
मैं निवेदन करूंगा सारे किसान संगठनों से बातचीत के माध्यम से समाधान ढूंढे और उसमें सरकार पूरी तरीके से तत्पर है।
इंडिया की सरकार आएगी तो हम एमएसपी की गारंटी हिंदुस्तान के किसानों को देंगे। जो स्वामीनाथन रिपोर्ट में लिखा है वो हम पूरा करके आपको दे देंगे।
कुछ राजनीतिक दल राजनीति करना चाहते तो मैं उनसे इतना ही कहूंगा, आप किसानों के साथ खिलवाड़ मत कीजिए। आप जब सत्ता में थे तब तो कुछ नहीं कर पाए, अगर मोदी सरकार ने किया है तो आप उसको जनता को भ्रमित करने का काम मत कीजिए।
एमएसपी की रिपोर्ट 2004 में आ गई थी, तब कांग्रेस की सरकार थी। 10 सालों में इनकी पार्टी ने क्यों नहीं किया?
All right, so is it political tactics or is there a new math at play? Mohini Mohan Mishra is All India General Secretary of the Bharatiya Kisan Sangh. Madhu Gaud Yaski is National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Zainab Sikandar is the leader of the RLD. VM Singh is National Convener of the Rashtriya Kisan Mazdoor Sangathan. Let me start with you, Madhu Gaud Yaski, because today Rahul Gandhi is promising an MSP law saying that if India Alliance comes to power, you will implement the Swaminathan Commission recommendations. Let me then ask you this question. Why did KV Thomas, who was the Agriculture Minister in the UPA government in 2010, say this in Parliament, that the National Commission on Farmers under the chairmanship of MS Swaminathan has recommended MSP should be at least 50% more than weighted average cost of production? This recommendation, however, has not been accepted by the government because MSP is recommended by the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices based on objective criteria. Hence, prescribing of an increase of at least 50% on costs may distort the market. A mechanical linkage between MSP and cost of production may be counterproductive. This is what the UPA's Agriculture Minister said. What's changed in the last 10 years for Rahul Gandhi to make that promise today?
Chaka, I appreciate you having a discussion on the farmers issue, our Annadatas issue. I wish the discussion should have been what Shri Narendra Modi ji promised to the farmers in 2021, just before UP elections, apologizing to the farmers, withdrawing those farmers' black laws which is brought in, and let me remind to you, through the nation, Narendra Modi ji 2014 elections campaign, he promised to the farmers, dugna karenge MSP. Kahan gaya wo promise? What happened? Instead of asking, they are in power last 10 years, you are questioning the former Agriculture Minister KV Thomas in 2010. This is 14 years later. Discussion should have been, that's where the government has changed, right?
No, Mr. Yaski, no, one second. Mr. Yaski,
आप 60 साल कांग्रेस को दिया है, 7 महीने में दे दीजिए.
one second.
So this should have been.
The Swaminathan
what is the point of, give me 1 minute, give me half minute. Give me half minute. Swaminathan Commission, what is the point of giving Bharat Ratna Swaminathan without implementing?
Let's have a reasonable, meaningful discussion. Please tell me, the Swaminathan Commission was not constituted by the Modi government. The Swaminathan Commission did not submit its report when the Modi government was in power. The report, as I understand, got submitted in 2007-8. In 2010, when a question was asked to the then Agriculture Minister, this was his response, and I read out this response. UPA was in power from 2004 to 2014. Why did you not implement the Swaminathan Commission recommendation and say that MSP will be 50% over and above cost of production? What stopped you?
Jaka, let me answer to that and also answer further. We have not implemented. Government has changed, right? What is the promise made by Narendra Modi ji then? अब की बार मोदी सरकार आएगा, क्या change हुआ है? 60 महीने हमें दीजिए, हम बदल देंगे, फार्मर का इनकम भी दुगना करेंगे. दिस इज द प्रॉमिस मेड बाय नरेंद्र मोदी जी. नाउ वी आर आस्किंग व्हाई यू Ms. Gandhi saying that we will implement it now. Why not? What is the income of the government? What is the income? What is the total budget income now? The farmers in distress. Farmers are cheated by the current NDA government and Shri Narendra Modi ji, no other than what promises he made in 2011, 2021 before elections in December. What promises he made? Did he implemented any of those? Did he give any compensation? What is Lakhimpuri case? Did the accused convicted? The compensation has been given. You are asking how you change your word, Congress. Yes, why not?
Okay.
We are in politics and we change and we can implement it.
So
we can implement it. Just giving Bharat Ratna Swaminathan doesn't mean.
Okay.
If you really want to give Bharat Ratna Swaminathan ji, you should respect and implement what he has recommended.
Okay, let me go to Mr. V.M. Singh, because I believe he is there only for a limited amount of time. Mr. Singh, to just analyze threadbare the MSP issue, there are 23 scheduled crops. If the government has to procure all 23 scheduled crops, all 100% of the output that's being produced on this 23 scheduled crops, the total requirement, budgetary requirement for this would be 17 lakh crores. The procurement will be almost 50% of the total annual budget of the government of India. This would be higher than the defense budget of India, the health budget of India, the education budget of India, and even higher than the capital expenditure allocation by the government of India. Please tell me, will this not break the bank, as it were, if the government were to procure all 23 scheduled crops at MSP?
Zaka, firstly, nobody is asking the government to purchase everything at MSP. What are we asking? Give a guarantee that nobody will buy for less than that in the country. That's all. I'll give you the example. This 17 lakhs, where has it come from? The figure come from? If you're going to purchase, you're going to sell it also. The difference is going to be about a lakh and a half, and that's not the issue today. I say whatever MSP is there, just ensure that people get the MSP and nobody buys for less than that. I'll give you two examples for that. Petroleum sector and sugar sector. When the sugar was coming from the high sea or abroad at 24 rupees or 23 rupees a kg, the government, to help the sugar mills, said, okay, nobody will buy for less than 31 rupees at that point in time. This was the same government in 2015, I think. Okay, they gave a MSP. What is the MSP now? It was not a minimum support. It was a minimum sale price of sugar. Likewise for petroleum, the crude. If somebody wants to get for lesser price than that, it's not permissible. You're putting custom duties, because the Burma Shell or the IOC, whatever, they can't sell for less rates. Or when Reliance came in, for that matter, Reliance wanted to sell for a lesser price. It was not permitted. The protection can be given to other people. Why can't protection be given to the farmers, number one? And Zaka, I want to give a background to this as such, if you just give me a minute and a half or more, and this is not an issue that started right now before the elections that people are talking about. In 2000, October 2000, there was agitation from Uttar Pradesh, which covered 7 days on the MSP issue. Rajnath Singh came in as the CM, and the earlier CM, Ram Prakash Gupta, had to go in the agitation. Thereafter, Swaminathan Commission came in 2004 by the Congress government.
Yeah.
We've been treated by everybody. But 2004, the report started coming in 2006. The 4 volumes came in, and the final volume came in 2007 and 2008. And whatever they did or didn't do, there's only one major thing that people wanted there was comprehensive cost plus 50%, C2 plus 50%, the cost of price, the cost of the production. Then what happens is, then a working group was set up by the Ministry of Commerce, by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, in the Manmohan Singh government, having 4 chief ministers, headed by the Gujarat Chief Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. There was the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister also, Tamil Nadu also, and Maharashtra also. They gave a report. Where Mr. Modi said no, MSP, a guarantee should be given. Thereafter, because having said that and nothing happened, in 2013, when the BJP manifesto was made, it was mentioned there that C2 plus 50% will be given to the farmers. Believe me, thereafter nothing happened. So in 2018, we had a big meeting in Delhi
18 में बस से
of all the opposition people,
CNN 18 में बस
including Rahul Gandhi came in there, Sharad Pawar, everyone was there. And there everyone said, okay, we'll give MSP. Nobody kept it in their manifesto also. We are in 2000.
No, I've given you a very long amount of time. So give me.
I wanted to tell you because the nation must know this.
No. So give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds.
Please.
I'm not getting into the politics of it. That is, that's a matter of a different debate. I'm purely speaking, and I'll get Mohan Mishra also into this conversation. I'm purely speaking as to the economic rationale behind this. Now, you cited the case of, petroleum products and other products which are regulated. Now, to say that 23 crops from rice to wheat to jowar to maize and others, all of it, if government has to regulate prices and consumers have to buy under regulated prices, then that is completely violative of a free market, of liberalization, of WTO commitments. I can go into a whole host of treaties you will break if all of these 23 crops have to be bought and sold in under regulated prices. Number one. Number two, no government. One second, please. Give me 10 seconds. No government in the history of this country, no government in the history of any country anywhere can procure 100% of crop that is being produced in that particular country. In the United States, does not have a minimum support price. It is the biggest economy in the world. Why? Because cost of production plus 50% will break the bank. No one can procure at that price. So if you are saying that at market price, certain products are being brought, it is the market that is deciding that price. Now for you to say that no one will buy, it's like saying, tomorrow Maruti cannot sell cars below 10 lakhs. Anybody who buys or sells a Maruti car has to buy above 10 lakhs. That's not how prices are decided, sir. Prices are decided by demand and supply. And in this case, demand and supply should decide what the price is, particularly when the entire government capacity to procure crops, 23 scheduled crops, from the farmers is only 25%. Remaining 75% produce in this country is being sold as per market rate. Out in the market decides what the price is. Now, Mohan Mishra, one second, please. There are other two guests also waiting very patiently, so kindly indulge me. Mohan Mishra ji, प्लीज ये बता दीजिए, वीएम सिंह जी ने अभी बताया कि चाहे वो कांग्रेस की सरकार हो, बीजेपी की सरकार हो, सब लोग वादा करते हैं एमएसपी दे देंगे, कुछ लोग मैनिफेस्टो में डालते हैं, लेकिन जैसे सरकार में आ जाते हैं वो देते नहीं है. मैंने जो अभी आर्ग्यूमेंट रखा है वो देते नहीं है इसीलिए क्योंकि ये फीजिबल नहीं है, इकोनॉमिक सेंस नहीं है, ये देने में कोई भी सरकार नहीं दे पाएगी. क्या आप इनको रेस्पॉन्ड करेंगे प्लीज मोहन मिश्रा जी?
I want to tell a different story of this discussion. Everybody might have known, सब लोगों को पता है C2 का एलिमेंट्स क्या क्या है. इसमें लैंड का रेंट भी आता है, फाइनेंस इन्वेस्टमेंट का इंटरेस्ट आता है, सीड्स का कॉस्ट आता है, फर्टिलाइजर का, लेबर का, सबका कॉस्ट इंक्लूड करके कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन निकलता है. एंड वी वांट दैट C2 plus 50%. It was advised by Mr. Swaminathan ji.
जी.
But if you decide about the cost of these elements, irrigation cost, as for example, अगर धान के बारे में सोचेंगे, आसाम से लेकर गोवा तक धान का खेती होता है, जहाँ नॉन इरीगेटेड रेनफेड इरीगेशन होता है, रेनफेड के कारण एग्रीकल्चर होता है. वहाँ जैसे सीड का कॉस्ट, अगर फार्मर्स देश में दूसरे जोन में 127 एग्रो क्लाइमेटिक जोन में फार्मर्स जो सीड यूज करता है, मेजर फार्मर्स ओन सीड यूज करते हैं, सम फार्मर्स यूजिंग द गवर्नमेंट सीड सप्लाइड सीड, एंड दिस एरिया especially NCR area farmers, they using multinational company seeds, that is too high a cost. Again फर्टिलाइजर में भी काफ़ी किसान फर्टिलाइजर यूज नहीं करते हैं. कुछ लोग मॉडरेट फर्टिलाइजर यूज करते हैं, कुछ लोग हेवी डोज फर्टिलाइजर यूज करते हैं. दिस NCR जोन फार्मर्स आर यूजिंग फर्टिलाइजर. सो द कॉस्ट वेरिएशन of the cost of production variation is very high. जब ये C2 आएगा, इस एवरेज आएगा, दोबारा पंजाब के हरियाणा के किसान भी फिर दिल्ली आएंगे जिस दिन ये लागू होगा, क्योंकि दे विल बी गेटिंग लेस मार्जिन. उनका मैकेनाइजेशन हाई कॉस्ट में है, इसका इरिगेशन कॉस्ट भी हाई है, उनका लैंड का कॉस्ट भी हाई है, सीड का कॉस्ट भी हाई है. बाकी जो इन कंपैरिजन टू अदर जोन्स ऑफ आवर कंट्री, जो कानून बनेगा ये देश के लिए बनेगा. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, you just talk about 23 crops. Are we growing 23 crops in our country?
Of course not.
When there is a huge number of crop diversion nowadays towards millets, coarse grains and other crops, people are shifting from grains to flower crops, to medicinal crops, to coconut plantation, to coffee plantation, tea plantation. So what will happen to other crops, flowering cultivation? So it is not about 23 crops. You have to, I can calculate around 40,000 crops we are cultivating. If anybody asks, I can give the list also. So at least जो मेजर क्रॉप्स उसके बारे में सोचना पड़ेगा. यहाँ तक भी आई नो इन हरियाणा पॉपुलर क्रॉप्स इज कल्टीवेशन. I know bamboo is under cultivation. What about all those farmers? So when you are talking about a act, you have to talk all these things. So Zakaji, we have to understand why. I don't know why MS Swaminathan told this formula. He's for a single area, single crop, not for the entire country. We have to take the average of the cost of production of different area of the part of the state.
Let me get in.
And at that time, Punjab farmers will be loser.
Moni ji, thank you for putting that into perspective. I think our viewers will also get a better sense. Before I come to VM Singh, Zainab is also waiting very patiently. Zainab, so let's leave the MSP thing. Let's agree to disagree that, you know, why governments, multiple governments, despite promising it, are not able to economically keep that promise. Now, one of the other demands, there are 6 demands that the protesters have. One of the demands is to exit the WTO, freeze all free trade agreements. Now, please tell me, India is the 5th largest economy, poised to be the 3rd largest economy before the end of this decade. Now, if India went into the WTO in the late 1990s, there have been multiple governments after that. There was a Vajpayee government, there was a UPA government, and now there is a Modi government. Free trade and free trade agreements under the WTO regime is a cornerstone of mercantile trade in this world. All countries, a large majority of countries in the world, are part of the WTO international trading mechanism. How can farmers decide that, oh, on these crops, we should not get into free trade agreements, on these crops, we should not import, on these other crops, we can import? Tomorrow, and I said this on last night's show as well, traders in Chandni Chowk can say, this item you should not import from China. Car manufacturers in Pune and Chennai can say, these parts we should not import from China. I mean, who is going to take us seriously? If you're saying we should exit the WTO, why should that be restricted only to crops? There are a whole bunch of things that we're importing.
Absolutely. And like I said, even last night in your show, there are too many heads that are cooking too many, points in this. There have been meetings that have happened with all the stakeholders, which includes farmers and ministers and also the opposition. The reality is we need to keep the talks on with the farmers, who are the main stakeholders here, and we need to talk about alternatives. We cannot have impractical demands on table, but yes, we have to keep the benefits of the farmers, and the farmers is the priority, and we have to make sure that they are satisfied with whatever alternative which favors the nation. All those alternatives should be agreed upon by the government and the farmers.
No, but what are these alternatives? Now you have a situation where the state is saying, and I can put out those figures, and I'm sure Mr. VM Singh will also have his set of figures on this. The government is saying that MSP for wheat, for example, which is one of the 2 biggest crops in this country, MSP for wheat, the government's contention has gone up by 62.5% since the time Mr. Modi's government came to power in 2014 to now 23, 62.5%. The MSP for paddy has gone up by 66.64%. So 2/3 more increase since 2013-14 when the Modi government came to power. Now, the point is, I have the exact details here. Yeah, the MSP for major crops has been steadily rising. In 22-23, the MSP for paddy stood at 2,183 per quintal. That was up from what it was in 2013-14. For wheat, at this financial year, it stands at 2,275 per quintal, again up from what it was 10 years ago. And there's a whole list of other crops for which MSP has been, for which the government's procurement price has been increasing. The government is saying, we are giving you year after year, we are procuring at a higher price. But you are saying that you want cost of production plus 50%.
Yeah.
How can that be possible? Somewhere there has to be a meeting ground.
That is what I mean by alternative, and that can only happen when talks go forward and both the sides agree upon something that is practical. So there is no need to either antagonize the farmers or the government. The problem is the politics is making it seem like it is farmers versus country. It's not like that. And why I said country is because right now the government is saying that it is not feasible as a country for us to apply the C2 plus 50% formula. That is what the government side is saying. And you have to understand these are figures. These are numerical figures. These are not just things that are thrown in the air. So what we have to do, this is what I'm saying, the middle ground has to be met between the farmers and the government. And when the talks happen and things are explained well to all the stakeholders, there will be a conclusion that will be reached. Look, the farm laws were also repealed because the conclusion was reached. It was recognized that the farm laws are not conducive for our farmers, and therefore they were repealed. So when things have gone in a positive direction in the past, I have no doubt that they will still go in the positive direction, and the benefits of farmers will be kept as a priority.
Mr. VM Singh, one other demand. Okay, we've looked at 2-3 demands by the farmers. One other demand is pensions for farmers and for farm laborers. Now, the total amount of government revenue that goes for pensions, whether it's for defense personnel, retired Sarkari personnel, is almost 10% of the entire revenue of the government of India. Today, farmers are asking for pension, and I'm not sitting in judgment on that demand. Tomorrow, what stops small traders from asking for pension, shopkeepers from asking for pension, street hawkers from asking for pension, journalists from asking for pension? What stops any class of society from asking for a pension?
Well, now that you asked me this, I'm only here basically for the MSP Guarantee Kisan Morcha. But when you talk about the pension, are you aware of the fact that the UP government has started giving pension to the farmers from this year? They've started themselves. The UP government has started in this budget right now to give pension to the farmers. Number one. Now, let me just get back to the MSP again. There's something that you asked me at that point in time and shifted to Mr. Moni. Mr. Moni, when you're talking about all these things, depreciation is the main factor also in C2, which probably we missed out. Depreciation, why? We have a tractor. The tractor's life initially was 35-40 years. Now you have controlled it to 10 years. So 10% depreciation has to go every year. You can't help it. Therefore, that also has to be into account. Machinery. All these things have to be taken into account. And then what happens as such is, Zaka, you were giving an example of Maruti cars. Does anyone ever tell you that Maruti cars, the manufacturer has to get this at this rate and this rate and this rate? The farmers have to buy electricity at the MRP. Farmers have to buy fertilizer at the MRP. Farmer has to buy the pesticides at the MRP. Farmers have to get everything at the MRP, and ultimately they don't even get the MSP, which is based on the MRP.
No. But no. One second, sir, please. Every part that goes in, since we are on the example of cars, right? Every part that goes into the making of a car is procured by the car company at whatever price it procures. It's not like that is subsidized for the car company.
And then the
tires, the chassis, the horns, the electric appliances are procured at market price.
I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying. The car company assembles everything at the rates that they're getting, and then fixes the price, keeping your own markup.
Yes.
There is a markup for the farmers.
No. So that is demand and supply, isn't it, sir?
No.
One second, please. If the market has demand to buy rice at, let's say, 50 rupees a kilo, the market will offer that price. But if the market is not offering 50 rupees a kilo, if it's offering only 30 rupees a kilo, then it will buy at that price.
I think
This is true. This is true for every product, whether it is cars or aeroplanes or rice and wheat.
If we just get back to MSP right now, 80 crore people are getting ration from the government.
Yes.
The government has to be very careful on what rates they are buying it because they are doling it for free. Let's be honest there. Now you say that the farmers are getting urea at subsidized rate. They're getting DAP at subsidized rate.
Yes.
Don't give it to us. Give us exactly what it costs and give us a markup over that. Either don't fix a rate. Let us fix a rate. But if you fix a rate, then whatever you fix, ensure that we don't get less than that. That's all what I say. I'm not saying give C2. You're giving A2 plus FL right now. Let that be there right now.
Again, you know, to say that PDS scheme subsidizes food and therefore, you know, let's not do with food subsidies, and instead if you're saying farmers can also do away with fertilizer subsidy and, you know, electricity at cheaper rates, or in some states there's even free electricity for a certain number of hours. Right. So you know, if that is the argument, then your cost of production is going to skyrocket. Mr. Moni Mishra's point was also that the issue is the cost of production. The issue is not the minimum support price. The issue is that in some states the cost of production is far higher. So you have to fix that.
Every government wants to give a lesser rate for the consumers, not for the farmers. Under the garb of the farmers, they give it to consumers.
Jakaji.
It's a very clear thing.
Yes, Moni ji.
We have to understand also another thing. Farmer is a farmer producer and he is also a consumer. Potato farmer, he is purchasing tomato from the market. If the cost of production goes sky high, the farmer will also be the loser. So the other way for this, what I am telling, I think BM Singh just told me that is not the issue I am telling. The cost of production is much more higher in Punjab and Haryana than the other part of the countries. When we are deciding C2, it is an average. So the Punjab Haryana farmers will be loser in that point.
I have to come to the concluding part. Moni ji, please. Just give me some time.
The GST of the implement.
I'm coming to the concluding part. So Madhu Gaudiyaski, one of the demands, and again Congress has signalled its willingness or its assent to this demand, is increasing annual Manrega employment from 100 days to 200 days, for which the budgetary allocation as per the last budget, the vote on account that was presented, was 70,000 crores. If it needs to be doubled from 100 days to 200 days, it has to go up to 1.4 lakh crores. It has to be double the budgetary allocation. For the 10 years that UPA was in power and your government introduced Manrega, every single year, Madhu Gaudiyaski, the budgetary allocation was not fully utilized under Manrega. That's a wasteful expenditure, right? If already 70,000 crores is not being fully utilized, what is the rationale for doubling that budgetary allocation? It makes no sense.
Quick. Chaka, where there is a will, there is a way. You are a gentleman anchor. I am sorry to see your analysis most of the time, which side you are. First, let me answer on that. It is even Modi government has agreed that Manrega saved crores of the laborers during COVID, and it is increased the employment. It is protected the landless agricultural laborers across the country.
No, I agree with you on that.
You are saying how it not.
No, I agree with you on that, but that's not my question.
There is a conditions
anyway,
for that.
Ahead.
Give me a half minute. You are saying this money was not utilized. As an MP, former MP, I can tell you, there is a conditions laid down how this Manrega can be used. Is only laborer, not the missionary, not included in it. So there is a conditions for that in implementing. And secondly, quickly, you have listed the MSP has increased during 10 years of Modi government, but you have not listed the cost for production has gone up so much. And secondly, let me tell you with my practical experience, when the farmer get income zakah, they buy land, they buy houses, they do shadi, they spend that money, it's a trickle down. The rural economy, they reinvest that money into the economy. It helps in the indirectly. So your analysis is completely wrong. You're giving the cars, and whereas the farmers been cheated and misguided by the Modi government, failed the farmers here. If you're saying quickly, the some of the conditions. If you don't fix the minimum supporting price, the big stockists, they exploit the farmers. It's the government is never buys completely. They only 10% government procure. Rest in the open market. The open market, the traders, they exploit the farmers. And they don't have facilities to send it to the different market. The tomatoes, if you can sell it in 10 rupees, it may comes to 50 rupees in Delhi. But they should have facility to do that. You are not providing. You can wave off 20 lakh crores to the big industrialists. But you are not coming to help the farmers.
All right. I am completely out of time. But
whatever you give, this indirectly helps the farmers.
Point taken. Look, I'm not an agricultural economist, but there is an argument to be made that why then MSP? You can, if the argument is that some of this money will trickle down, people will buy land, contribute to the rural economy, buy FMCG products, etc. Why not transfer directly to the bank account and let them use that money? Ultimately, net, the problem that Indian agriculture faces is an issue of productivity. That productivity is low, cost has gone up, yes, no doubt about it. But agriculture is no longer a productive enterprise for a large number of people. That's why they are leaving agriculture. And if you want to increase rural incomes, you need to find other avenues of generating income and not focus on a sector whose productivity has been declining over the years. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. I am completely out of time. Thank you very much for joining us, to all our guests. But we'll see how this story plays out over the next few days and months. There's been a second round of talks today between the government and the farmers. No conclusion, no resolution in sight. I'm given to understand there will be a third round of talks tomorrow as well, and we'll be on top of that. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Presented by followers, and shall I say to my, not followers, to my supporters who've supported my music and loved me as I am.
Loved you, we all love you. And I'm actually loving how it's early in the morning, but you are all in your avatar. I'm loving the red on you like right now. I'm also loving that red bindi. All of this is quite marvelous, like you said. But you've had quite a year, ma'am. You just got the Padma, your songs are viral. I really want to understand, what is your mantra to keeping it relevant, to staying so enthusiastic about life and your love for music, even at this age?
My mantra is to be able to accept that you have to make time your friend, not fight with time. I think if you make time your friend and realize that the youth are the future of our, of our whole life, that without the youth, we're going absolutely nowhere. So I think that focus has to be there. And once you get that focus, that the youth, you are our future, then I think things, the jigsaw puzzle kind of gets neater, and you're not so puzzled anymore. Because I have noticed that even a song like Koi Yahan Aha Nache Nache, which was my song, Dekhte Dekhte, it's already 40 years since that song came.
40, imagine.
Or Ramba Ho. So one needs time for something to become a classic. And you can't become a classic just overnight, it's not possible. And so there are certain songs which even great composers like R.D. Burman and all were not appreciated in their time. But today, he's one of the most remixed and re-remixed, musicians of all time. And I think that is what it's all about. When you realize that and accept that a song is always bigger than the singer. Because the song will keep coming back over and over again if you give it life. Whichever song it is. Like, how can something like, say, Hotel California, or Can't Buy Me Love, or I Can Get No Satisfaction, or all these old songs, how do they they're all my contemporaries. Okay.
So joining us on TBC next is everybody's favorite, certainly one of my favorite. She remains ageless and how, she remains timeless and how. And if you weren't convinced about it, well, you have to hear her singing Miley Cyrus's latest song that won her a Grammy. Usha Uttam, welcome to TBC. So glad to have you here. Like I said, it is only you can transition from Koi Yahan Nache Nache to Miley Cyrus's Flowers. You have done it for so many decades now. How do you keep it so relevant and keep it so alive?
Well, first of all, let me say it's wonderful to be with you on CBC. Namaskar, namaskaram, sat sri akal, salam alaikum. I'm so excited to be with you. What can I say? Because this is such an important thing in my life, really. And I'm sure all of you would agree that, as you said, decades, 54 years of singing some song like Fever and then California Dreaming and then, so many songs. And then suddenly you do Miley Cyrus's Flowers. But actually, it's not like that. I've always believed that a song is a song and it's timeless no matter what. And actually, retro is where it's at now. People all want to hear recall. And in my show list, it's always been that the older songs get more people more energized than the newer ones. Now, Flowers, and of course, songs with lyrics, okay? There was a time when I Will Survive was a breakup song for every girl, right? Gloria Gaynor's song. I was on my list, actually. In the batting order, it would have been third or fourth in the show. Then slowly what happened was, newer songs came, or I started singing Dawn 2 because I'd sung in that. Then I'd done Bulea. And of course, Dam Maro Dam and I Love You remain a constant, okay? It's always there. So when my daughter, Anjali told me, she just sent me a recording of what she had done, okay? Of Flowers. And I just thought it was such a marvelous piece of song.
Yeah.
That... and she told me that, Amma, why don't you do it as well? So when Anjali told me about this song, I just thought it was such a brilliant piece of lyric, really. I just loved the lyrics. We were right till we weren't. That line just says so many things. Built a home and saw it burn. There are some songs that really give me goosebumps just thinking about the lyric, And then when it says, why do we depend on everybody else to do things for us or make us feel good? And this one is not really a breakup song. It's such a positive song of Nari Shakti, really. Nari Shakti, Stree Shakti, and woman power, really. And on this Valentine's Day, I would definitely say that it's not just for the women, it's for the men as well. Why do we need somebody else to buy us flowers? Why do we need that? Or why do we need someone else to talk to for hours? Why don't we do it with ourselves? And, there are so many positive feelings in this song that it just became marvelous. So it came onto my repertoire list for the shows about maybe 2 months ago. And whoever thought that she was going to get a Grammy for this, and my rendition would become viral, was really, really thankful and full of gratitude to my followers, and shall I say to my, not followers, to my supporters who've supported my music and loved me as I am.
Loved you, we all love you. And I'm actually loving how it's early in the morning, but you are all in your avatar. I'm loving the red on you right now. I'm also loving that red bindi. All of this is quite marvelous, like you said. But you've had quite a year, ma'am. You just got the Padma. Your songs are viral. I really want to understand, what is your mantra to keeping it relevant, to staying so enthusiastic about life and your love for music, even at this age?
My mantra is to be able to accept that you have to make time your friend, not fight with time. I think if you make time your friend and realize that the youth are the future of our, of our whole life, that without the youth, we're going absolutely nowhere. So I think that focus has to be there. And once you get that focus, that they...
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Our lead story tonight is from the UAE. It saw history in the making today, the inauguration of the biggest Hindu temple in West Asia. The images and the messaging were powerful. We'll bring you all of it and break it down for you. Also focus on the other major engagements today. In Pakistan, they finally have the blueprint for a government, but for the army, the threat called Imran Khan still looms. In Indonesia, a celebration of democracy. Voting day was like a festival. We'll tell you who is celebrating victory. In Europe, the desperation is becoming evident. Second anniversary of the Ukraine war and failing Western response. What do? Talk about sanctions on Indian and Chinese firms helping Russia. In the US, the first such impeachment